Welcome to another episode of Have We Made It Yet? Josh.
Welcome.
I can't believe it.
What?
This is episode 13.
Oh, we don't speak about episode 13. It's unlucky.
Unlucky.
That and whenever we do a Mandarin or Chinese version, episode 4, that's also the unlucky one.
Oh yeah, so the next one we can't even say the number then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or I mean, there is also Lucky 13, so this could also be Lucky episode.
That could be it.
Yeah.
So welcome to another episode of Have We Made It Yet? I am your host, along with my co-host. I am the actor portion of this podcast, and Josh.
I am the Josh portion of this podcast. It's the comedian portion, Josh Yang.
Awesome. And as we like to start off with every episode, how should we call it? As a reminder of what this podcast is about, Mr. Josh Yang, have you made it yet?
No, I have not. But now that we're in the month of May, how I did the Fresh Rice showcase in January? Yeah, it was all recorded and it was all nice. Supposedly that should be released this month, so that's Josh, what I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Footage. So I'll look nice and in HD and in front of. So that's the one thing I've been looking forward to all year since this shit happened.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, it's always so much better when you have footage of yourself, so you can send it to agents and at least get some cool booking gigs. It's a
start for sure. But Lucas, very important question: have you made it yet?
No, I have not. But I signed up for my first Zoom acting classes, which are actually based in Vancouver. With this acting coach that my friends in Vancouver swear by. So I'll be starting that in early May. So might as well get this going, get the mind going while we're under quarantine. Yeah.
Absolutely. I also bought into the master class, those. Yeah, I ended up splitting one with my roommate, and I've been looking into the Aaron Sorkin screenwriting one.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. The man writes a great script, but listening to him teach and talk, it's kind of hard. He's got a lot of uhs and ums in there, so it's interesting to hear him speak though. But, yeah,
I swear sometimes it's a different skill set. The doers do, the teachers teach. And Aaron Sorkin is a doer.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we actually have a really cool guest. You would not believe it. Okay, so just a heads up with everyone else that's listening there, with this next guest. So her and I, we first met when we were in university, and we did an anti-smoking PSA for our university project. It was a pretty wild filmmaking process that had us making one full movie in a span of literally a day. But only to realize that after we had finished our first version of that movie, that none of it actually matched the criteria of the project. But that's showbiz, baby. Yeah. So we made a whole new one, and that's when I knew that the guest that we have coming up on was an incredibly talented filmmaker who is adaptable and can just really roll with the punches. So shortly after we all graduated from SFU, where also you went to the SFU.
Yeah.
Simon Fraser University for our non-Vancouver listeners there. She then worked with Raindance Vancouver. She co-directed the Vancouver Short Film Festival and continues to write short scripts. Yeah, continues to write short scripts that are eventually being made into films. She's actually currently moved to Toronto, where she currently works on a new exciting show on the CBC. So she's a multi-talented filmmaker, writer, producer, actor, director on indie films such as Gongju and The Things I Couldn't Say. So let's give it up for Zlatina!
Yay!
Yay! Ha 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 ha! It's actually Nicolas Cage! Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for that intro, Lucas.
Oh, no problem. Your IMDb writes for itself. It's like it's stacked, man.
Well, it's all like student films and stuff. But thank you.
Dude. Yeah. So it's Okay. First off, with any of our podcast questions, Zlatina, have you made it yet?
No, and you guys have caught me on a great day for this because I was going through a total existential crisis and I was trying to write, and yeah, I was getting really frustrated. So happy to be here. Have not made it yet. Check back in 10 years.
You know what? 10 years in 2030, it will be a totally different decade. Hopefully not another pandemic, though.
Hopefully not. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll just be making movies and TV shows about the pandemic. That'll just be what happens in 2030.
It's so true.
You know, I'm so not excited for any of those movies.
I know.
We've lived through it. We don't want to live through it again.
Yeah. It's so true. It's like, imagine if like we actually did have like a meteoroid like destroy our planet and we have to watch Armageddon. It's like Aerosmith did not write a song about us. Come on.
Oh man, it's gonna be odd. Also, in my mind, like any TV show that like we see or movie that we see that doesn't mention coronavirus, then you're almost going to assume it's pre-2020, and anything that has a little mention is just gonna be post-2020. It's like 9/11. Like anything you mention about 9/11, pre-9/11, post-9/11, you know when that's set pretty much.
Oh, totally. Even when you watch Friends, old episodes of Friends, and you see the intro and the Twin Towers, and you're like, oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Before 9/11.
Z, I understand that you've had some weird dreams. And since I'm the guest on this show, I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, wait. Where oh, there it is. There's my notepad.
Is that your dream journal?
Yeah. Which also versatile as my like script idea journal. It's a lot of things. Journal.
I like it.
Thank you. So dream 2 nights ago, in cousin's house. Go up to older cousin's room. The room is a lot bigger now. It's darker. Beds all lined up in the room. Cousins' older friends all sleeping over. Flash to a hockey player's face that gets beaten up. I get sidetracked into the boards. I get back to my cousin's house. I sit on a couch. Girlfriend now sitting beside me. I hit the couch in angst. I say, I miss it. She asks, who? I say, not a person, but a time. I wake up.
Your dream played out like a screenplay? It sounds very screenplay.
Cut to.
Cut to.
But yeah. These dreams have been fun.
Do you play hockey?
No, not at all. No.
Weird.
So Lucas, what do you think that means, and how is it related to sex?
I miss it.
Interesting. Are you guys abstinent right now so you don't get the virus?
Right now it's before that. Right now, you know, sex before marriage is a sin.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's of course.
This is a Christian podcast.
So, I worship Satan. So this is going to be really awkward.
You know what's funny? I've been realizing, and I was thinking of this yesterday, Satan is so in vogue right now.
Oh, he's amazing. He's like, we're like this. Yeah. He's really smart. Yeah. Actually, I saw a meme and it was like, just so you guys know, like God is the one that sends all the pandemics, not Satan. Satan brings like the metal concerts.
Yeah. It's true. I haven't seen
and the orgies.
The best. But haven't experienced one because it's abstinence.
Right. Yeah.
It's abstinence. Hold on. You actually have a live-in girlfriend, so you're like you shouldn't be having the abstinence shouldn't be your problem. It's my problem. My roommate's a guy, so it's nothing.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, do you, Josh? Like that's cool.
Yeah, we're good friends, but can't really do that. because we're both not. We're both straight. But anyways.
You guys cuddle?
Wow, that's
please. John?
No, I've only shaved his head. That's as intimate as we've gotten.
It's pretty romantic.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, a little. It's almost like Ghost, where you kind of like.
I was just thinking.
Shave the head of it. Yeah.
Did you come
I
from
had
behind,
a realization if you.
Oh. Well, yeah, because that'd be more awkward if you were looking dead on shaving the head, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's like very Army, Police Academy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Z, I cut you off. What were you about to say?
Oh, that's okay. No, I had a realization a couple days ago because I'm long distance with my partner right now, and I haven't like touched anyone since March 2nd.
Say what?
Yeah.
That's
March 2nd. No hugs, no handshakes.
not even the usual like greet handshake pat on the back that like we used to all do.
Mm-hmm. Have you at least like elbow dabbed someone?
Nope. Well, I've barely left my house too. I've become a total shut-in. I've just been like, chanting to Satan and doing my thing.
The usual.
Slaughter and sacrificial virgins.
Yo, I think you're in district though, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very.
I'm wearing Han Solo.
Han Solo.
And it says, I only fly solo. That's my quarantine shirt.
Nice. So, let's see. Have you had any dreams lately?
Oh, yes. Many.
Okay.
Many. But they're all boring. They're all just like me at work or like me walking down the street. I think I just miss normal life and my brain's like, well, just put this in your dreams because you're not able to do any of this stuff now.
Yeah, that's the fantasy now.
Yeah. I'm outside. I'm at a movie theater. This is amazing. I did have a dream, though. I had one where my boss was, like, obsessed with macrame. And if you knew him, you would know that that's not, like, that would be so weird. But I kept trying to find rope to make macrame, like, designs for him. And I couldn't find any rope. And I was just, like, running around trying to find rope. And then I woke up and I was like, I've never done macrame in my life. I don't even know what kind of rope you're supposed to use.
Yeah, who knows?
Are you going to ask the question?
Oh, the question, am I going to... Wait, I thought aren't we sharing dreams? I thought it's...
Yeah. Sorry, I thought we were on the same wavelength about what's macrame?
Oh, that's...
It's like...
Oh, macrame is where you do the...
Oh, you know
thing with the yarn. Yeah, it's like a yarn thing, and then it's not just... You can make objects out of macrame, is that right?
Yeah, you can make like flower pots, hanging flower pots, and like people always have macrame hangings on their walls. Lucas, you should know this. This is like very... Everyone knows what macrame is.
Oh my God, you showbiz types.
you're a showbiz type. What is that?
Pretentious knitters. I call it knitting, like the everyday man.
It's not knitting though. It's macrame. It's fancy knitting.
All right.
But yeah, dreams. I guess I think you mentioned we're talking about dreams because that's like you've heard a lot of people have weird dreams during quarantine and less stimulation and stuff. But I guess I don't usually remember a lot of my dreams a couple hours after I have them in the morning. But I do remember whenever I do have one, there's some ongoing plot lines that I've had over the years that periodically pop up in my head.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's one that's like a zombie one that happens. There's always a couple post-apocalyptic ones. Then there's other ones where like your parents die and then you have to live with that for a while in your dream.
Yeah.
And for some of them, I've discovered this ability where if I have a dream and it's getting to an interesting point in the plot and I happen to wake up, I'll try to force myself to go back to sleep so I can restart it. And it usually works. It usually works where I can restart it from where it is, where it's going, and then have it keep playing.
I can never do that. I wanted to get back to my macrame dream because I really wanted to make something. couldn't get back to it.
Yeah,
So,
for some reason, it only happens in the mornings when I'm like in the thick of it, and then I wake up. It's like, oh no, what happens next? And then I force myself to dream and see what happens next. Wait, not everybody can do that?
no, you're a magician.
Oh, is that just me?
Yeah, you're
Well,
a
there's-
Satan.
There's something called. Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
they've killed witches for less.
It's true.
Yeah.
I would know. I was a witch in a past life, so yeah. But no, there are people who do like transcendental dreaming, or I forget what it's actually called, but they like purposely make themselves do things in dreams.
Yeah, lucid
and they
dreaming.
can control it. Lucid dreaming, that's the name, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, sometimes I did change the plot when I was aware of it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
I have to definitely try it again next time.
Oh, dude, it's the best, man. Like, oh, the crazy things you would do, Josh.
No, I would just resolve the plots. It would just be things that were confusing to me. It's like, that doesn't make sense. I'll make them actually have a reason for doing that.
Oh my god.
That's probably what I would do.
You'd be the most
whatever.
You'd be the most boring patron in Westworld, man.
Yes, yeah, I'd probably be a trader. I'd probably go from town to town, doing the economics and dealing with the financing. Everything like that. That's probably what I would do. But I guess we should get back on topic a little bit.
Yeah.
This isn't a dream analyzing podcast? Fuck.
Yeah, we're gonna have I've yet to have that with a dream where I'm doing a podcast within the dream. It'd be like a dream cast. I don't know.
This is a dream.
It's all a dream. But yes, okay. So we got the big question out. Have you made it yet?
No.
I guess to change things up, like when you started on the path of like going into film and writing and directing, do you remember what your idea of making it was when you started out?
I was like, yeah, when I get to the Oscars, I'll have made it.
There you go.
And now I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll backtrack a little bit. I think I had a goal. I wrote in my goal diary. I was like, get to the Oscars by the time I'm 30. And I'm currently 30, turning 31 this year. So, nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm 32,
Thank
man.
you.
Like, it ain't, yeah.
But also my perception of making it has changed. Now I'm like, if I get my name on a script of television, like an episode, I'll be fine with that.
Oh.
There you go. Okay. So it's Mel changed to, yeah, definitely for me, it's also the same thing. My idea of the comedy, when I started going into it last year to like just even doing a couple shows in, I really had to change my expectations. I was like, oh yeah, I can get on Just for Laughs in like a year or so. It's like, no, it takes a while to get on Just for Laughs. But did you ever find that like you were like definitely frustrated that you felt like things should be moving quicker, and it's like, oh, I guess I should be laboring at this for a few more years before I can even start expecting anything?
Yeah, no, I get like, I'm like a huge brat when it comes to career, and I get so frustrated and really impatient. And so I've been trying to practice that and just be like, okay, whatever, just be happy with where you're at. Don't compare yourself to other people, because I fall down the rabbit hole a lot, and I'm like, why can't I do this? I just finished watching this show, Dave. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah.
You told me
It
about
is so freaking good. And I finished the last episode today, and I was like, well, I guess I quit because I'm never going to be able to write anything as good as this.
Oh, man. Dave is actually a really interesting story, because like I've seen some of the behind the scenes in him describing his beginning, right? Like he went all in. He like spent a bunch of his bar mitzvah. Am I?
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought I said it wrong, but he spent some of that money on like YouTube equipment and doing the YouTube game, like I think like mid to late 20s or something, and then just continued doing that. And for some reason, his first couple things got popped up, and I remember listening to a friend of mine from high school and showing me one of his songs, and like I got his shtick like right away, and I thought it was brilliant. And like to see him get to where he is now is actually pretty crazy.
No,
I know, and he touches on that a bit in the show.
Yeah.
With the bar mitzvah money, but yeah, I'm so mad at him for being so amazing. I'm like, screw you, little dickie. Like, so yeah, I'm quitting.
Hey, before you quit, we got to finish this interview, okay?
Right.
Come on.
After this.
Okay. Like, we know that you're a multi-talented artist. Like, you're a writer, producer, director. You even dabbled in acting too and everything.
Oh yeah.
Which of your skill sets, like, do you appreciate the most? And is there a skill set that you don't like to do at all?
So I think early on I was like, I'm going to try everything. I'm going to see. I was helping out friends in independent film in Vancouver with like publicity, because my communications degree, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll dabble in that. And then slowly I was like, no, I want to be making my own stuff. So I tried directing, hated it. Tried producing, also hate it. And I kind of landed on writing, and I was like, this is what I need to be doing.
Okay.
Acting scares the crap out of me. I don't know how you guys do it. Like, stand in front of a camera? Yeah, right. And then Josh, you in front of a crowd? Like,
yeah, it's
speaking your truth.
I think it is interesting to. Did I freeze? I froze, didn't I?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it is interesting to figure out what you feel like you're good at, and then the things that you're good at somehow helps you in the field that you're in, and that obviously like leads you to going down that path. Like for me, for some reason, like just because when it comes to public speaking or like getting a few jokes across in front of an audience, for some reason, like I'm able to relax and be a lot more comfortable in front of an audience when I'm up there, when like I know that for a lot of people that's a huge hurdle to jump over when starting comedy, is just being comfortable on stage. But for some reason it comes a lot more naturally to me, and I'm very thankful for that, because that at least puts the timeline up a little quicker than if I was like not comfortable on stage at all and then had to like work through that for the first couple of years before actually getting down to the writing and like really crafting the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the one thing I'm thankful for. I guess for you, when it comes to like writing, like what was the first thing that really sparked your interest, that is like, okay, this is the one I'm gonna choose?
I think I just always felt the most comfortable with it. Directing was scary because there was so many people just looking to you for answers, and I was like, I don't know all the answers yet. I'm like, I like to take my time and think, and directing was very much, it felt almost like improv, where you were just like, people were looking to you to say something and you had to kind of just spit out whatever was top of the mind. And then producing is just like, I love organizing, I love logistics, but it's so much of that it kind of takes all the creative fun out of it. And I'm sure like if you got a chance to be more of a creative producer, which I didn't in the experiences I had, it might be more fun, but yeah, it was just too much paperwork. So writing is very well suited to me, just because I like being alone in a room, drinking tea, typing away to my invisible friends in my brain. But yeah, now that I'm in a writer's room, it's kind of, my perception of that has changed. Like writing, the idea of writing is different to me.
Okay.
So, but I still really like it. I'm happy I chose this path.
Awesome. And as you continue to write your own scripts and everything, your own screenplays, what can you say, what genre or what type of characters really inspire you to write according to that type of story?
I've been doing a lot of online like screenwriting lessons and videos, and there's this guy named Corey Mandel, and he recorded a couple of really great free videos. I think he trains screenwriters professionally. and he does a really good job of it. Apparently he has a great reputation. And I watched one of his videos, and it was like, what are you writing, and what is your brand? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna think about this. And I nailed it down. And it's so niche, and like people are gonna be like, no one's gonna watch that. But mine's horror comedy.
Okay.
Half hour horror comedies that are coming of age stories about young girls. So like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, kind of, but not. Yeah.
Okay.
So good luck finding work, Zlatina.
Create that space. That sounds awesome. I'd watch that.
Yeah, because I love horror. That's probably my favorite thing to watch. And then comedy, I'm diving into the comedy world more, but I've always gravitated to comedy just because who doesn't like to laugh?
Yeah. I think it's better to have it niche, because at least your focus is on something that, even as you were describing it, I was thinking what I could compare that niche to, and I couldn't think of that many things. So I think writing content that way, at least it's something so different and unique that people will at least pay, I think, a little more attention to it. Definitely setting yourself apart must be the toughest part of like writing stuff.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I met with this one agent, and he told me, he was like, you need to find your voice. And so ever since I met with him, I'm like, I need to find my voice. And I haven't found it yet. Have not. Still looking for it. I feel like Ariel in The Little Mermaid when Ursula steals her voice, and I'm like, where's my Ursula? Who took my voice, and where is it?
Aww.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay. I assume have you seen Shaun of the Dead then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I recently rewatched it, and I forgot how good it was in terms of its jokes, but it's so tight, and the structuring and layout of the recurring jokes is so good that it's like, that's definitely like that was the first thing I thought of when you said horror comedy. That's always the first thing I would think of.
Yeah. That's totally right. I also just watched Jennifer's Body.
Oh, the Megan Fox one, right?
Yeah, and it was actually filmed in my high school, weirdly enough. Cool. But yeah, Diablo Cody, I feel like, is someone I would want to emulate. Like super kind of just quirky and weird, and it was a good film, actually. I was surprised it didn't get more good publicity.
You just reminded me.
I guess
What We Do in the Shadows.
That one's that's one of the shows right now that I'm trying to write a spec for.
Oh, nice.
And that's why today I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm never gonna be as funny as these humans. Why are they so funny?
Oh man.
It's just like the jokes are so I can't deal with it.
Oh, too good.
I know.
Yeah, what We Do in the Shadows, like after I think I remember the opening scene where Taika Waititi comes out of the coffin, that I knew immediately that this was my kind of show.
Nice.
Just it was the sensibility of where they're coming from was so perfect in terms of satirizing that whole thing. And I always love me some Flight of the Conchords. So.
Oh yeah,
I know.
I have a funny story about. Do you guys know in the movie What We Do in the Shadows, the weird, creepy vampire Peter?
Yeah, actually haven't seen
the old one.
Okay.
Oh my God, Lucas!
You gotta watch that.
There's this creepy vampire Peter that like lives in their basement. But I had him as my screensaver on my computer because I was in love with him. And
then in love with him.
I love, like, he was just so gross and weird looking, and I was like, oh my God, Peter is mine. But then I was, my friends and I were making a horror short that I had written, and my friend Amy directed it, and we were trying to find one of our cast members, one of the guys, and we got this random message from this guy in New Zealand, and he was like, hey, I submitted to your casting, and I also donated to your Indiegogo. And we looked him up, and it was the actor who played Peter. And so we were like, oh my God, my computer is magic. And so I made my background money because we were like, we need money. Maybe my computer will bring us money to make the film. It didn't work, and we didn't get Peter in the end, but it was still cool.
Too funny.
Man. You manifested that.
I know.
Some Destiny stuff.
It was my MacBook Air. That's what did it. Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, holy
magical computers.
Crazy.
Man.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
What was the name of that short? Like I think, did you hear that?
Oh, it's sorry, my computer's haunted.
Oh, okay,
well.
okay.
No, what
happened?
happened?
That short. Oh no, I just heard like a brrr, like a crinkle. It was weird. But yeah, what was the name of that short that you had produced and your friend
it's called
directed? Oh, okay.
It's called Camping Trip. And yeah, I wrote it when I was mad at my boyfriend. So it's about a girl who takes her boyfriend out to like a secluded forest in a trailer and then gets her brother to kill him. Damn. Yeah. It's not a comedy. It's a documentary.
I love it. That's fucking dark.
I think that's always interesting in my mind when it comes to like your relationships, because comedians use a lot of like what goes on in their lives. So if they talk about this girlfriend or my wife, like the wife has to be okay with being shit talked on stage. I guess it's the same thing with like writers. It's like if you write something like very oddly specific to your significant other, that could be a different level. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, he was a bit afraid for a while, but I reassured him that I wasn't taking him on any camping trips.
Fuck, man. Damn. So we know, like, one of your major experiences has been Crazy Eights and everything back in Vancouver.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So that was was that your first foray into like directing in a really intense film? Because just to give our listeners a brief run through, like, can you explain the premise of Crazy Eights?
Yeah, I have to interject before. I actually just wrote it. I didn't direct that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience. So Crazy Eights, it's an 8-day filmmaking competition in Vancouver. And what you do is a whole bunch of people submit ideas, video pitches, and then the judges for Crazy Eights pick, I think, 40 people to pitch in person. And then, so we were one of the people who pitched in person. And then from the 40, 10 are chosen to write their scripts. And so those 10 submit their scripts. And then from the 10, they pick 6.
Wow.
To make their films in 8 days. And you get $1,000 and a whole bunch of in-kind services. So we got like William F. White sponsors all the camera packages. We had lighting packages. And so we had professional grade equipment, and we had mentors. We had Jem Gerard as our directing mentor, and she just did Vagrant Queen in South Africa. And I think it's on FX or Hulu now.
Nice.
And she actually was a Crazy Eights alum. So like, it's a really intense filmmaking experience. It's really great, but you have 3 days to shoot, 5 days for post. And you don't sleep in that 1 week. And like, something goes wrong every time. Like, we had, I think when we were doing our sound mix at Postmodern Sound, I believe it was, the power went out. And and we had to get the final film to finale post at like 6 p.m. And we were like, we're not going to manage this. So unfortunately our sound was a bit messed up, which sucked, but it was a fun experience. We got to work with professional actors too, like actual union, amazing humans that have been in big things. And yeah.
Oh my God. Because it does sound like extremely intense in terms of 8-day turnaround that you have to film, post, and everything like that too. Would you do it again?
No. Never.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
I learned a lot. I think the biggest thing I learned is don't work with your friends.
Oh, that's okay. For our listeners, can you repeat that again emphatically?
don't work with your friends. If it's a high pressure, like work with them if it's a fun passion project, but don't work with them if it's a high pressure thing. Or just be open enough to know that you can be super honest with each other before you start.
Right.
Yeah, I generally agree with that when it comes to most things. I would say don't like shit where you eat, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
But it was fun. It was really fun. I actually preferred our EPK was done by this girl named Jenny Kim, and she's amazing. And she, like, the behind the scenes video is just way better than the film we made.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh wow.
I think it's on my YouTube, so people should check it out.
So is it like an Apocalypse Now, Heart of Darkness type of thing? Where yeah. Okay.
But she made it so that I was like, because our movie was about a girl who's death incarnate, but she doesn't know she's death. And when she dances, people die. And she just wants to dance, but she's like, why are people dying when I dance? Anyway, she made me get possessed. She was in her video in the EPK. So like the behind the scenes is me acting crazy, and then people trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of like the turnaround time, you said you didn't sleep at all during that. So what time was used for rest and to like get back onto the next day?
Geez, I think we had like 12 or 13-hour days shooting.
Oh.
And so my producer, Chris McRoney, and I would get home pretty late. He was doing everything. Like usually Crazy Eights films have at least 3 producers, I think. He was our only producer. And so he was managing groups of like 150, 200 crew a day. That would not be okay in COVID times.
Yeah.
Not allowed anymore. And so he was dealing with the budget. He was dealing with Crafty. Like he did everything. So we're super indebted to him. But I don't think he slept at all. I would sleep probably like 5 hours a night or something, which isn't too bad, and then get back to it. During post, we were like sleeping at our editor's house pretty much.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Why do people want to be in this industry? It still blows my mind.
For the unreasonable hours and the terrible conditions.
Yeah, so that you can go on podcasts and talk about it.
This is where the money's at.
Yeah, baby. Showbiz, baby.
It's super glamorous.
Yeah. I see that Han Solo shirt.
Yeah. Represent.
Okay.
He's so handsome.
I know. I'm finally watching The Mandalorian right now, and
I still haven't seen it. I feel like I've seen all the Baby Yoda memes, though. That's all I need to see. This is my other boyfriend. Yeah.
So the main thing is right now you're in Toronto. Right now you are. Can't believe you're actually on the other side of Canada right now, and it's amazing because like I remember, like you and we used to be in Vancouver and everything like that, and then when you actually told me you're coming to town, I couldn't believe it. But really,
I know, it's so nice.
What prompted you to make the move to Toronto?
I got a job offer here.
Nice.
On this CBC show, and I obviously was like, yeah, of course.
Nice.
Like, obviously. I thought they were joking with me when they called me about it. I was like, yeah, that's it. Thank you for punking me. That's great. Yeah, sure, I'll come to Toronto. And then it worked out. So I'm here. I'm really liking it, and I think there's a lot more opportunity for what I want to do in terms of writing. Especially as someone who's just starting out, there aren't that many rooms in Vancouver. So super grateful to be here, terrified every day that I'm going to screw everything up and they're going to be like, why did we hire this idiot? Thank you. Yeah. But no, I like it here. I've been like calling Drake to see if I can be his roommate, and he hasn't responded. So
he's got plenty of rooms. He should respond to.
I know. Like, stop being so greedy, Drake.
Yeah, his penthouse. My goodness.
Oh my God.
Have you seen that Tootsie Slide video? Man, he has so many rooms in there.
Yeah. I know. And he has a basketball court.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally forgot. You're actually
share
really
the
into
love,
music.
Drake.
Yeah, true. Straight up.
Yeah, I am. I am. I've been watching The Last Dance
Yeah.
on Netflix. Oh my God. So that's been motivating me. I see how hard
Mhm.
these basketball players work, and
Right.
I'm like, Michael Jordan wasn't that good when he first started as well as like a teen. But he worked so hard, and I was like, you know what? I can be a shitty writer now, but I'm gonna work my butt off.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
god.
then in comes little Dicky who ruined my life. So
Uh, Man, I think that's interesting. How I think a lot of people within the industry feel that way when it comes to like writers. Like when you see somebody write something truly great, you're always in awe, but also like just hate them with a cerebral hatred. That it's also both respect. It's like Donald. I remember that reminds me of like Donald Glover
Ugh.
oh,
speaking. Not only that, Donald Glover, who by himself is multi-talented, unbelievable, but then
mhm.
like he goes to the BAFTA Awards and presents an award to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and he was like, I just after he watched Fleabag, even he was like, I hate her so much because she wrote something this good, that kind of thing.
It's so rude. It's so rude when people are brilliant.
Yeah. Sheesh. Why can't we just live in a communist state where no one could be anything?
Yeah. You know what? My parents will kill me. They'll be like, Zlati, are you promoting communism? We escaped that in 1989. What are you doing?
Oh man. But yeah. So with your new job with the inside the writers' room, are you?
Mhm.
How did you feel like in terms of like going in there, especially now that like you get to see how a lot of different writers who have been doing a lot more, like what was something that really struck you as like changing your perspective on that?
Um, I think I just realized I didn't realize how collaborative TV was
Mm.
before this experience. Like my first time in a writer's room, I was like, oh, it isn't just people like typing away like idiots, Latina. I was like, oh yeah, no, it's people actually like talking to each other and pitching ideas and working together to build the world. So that was kind of nice. I was like, oh, you have allies in this situation. You're not just alone trying to make something happen. Um, so that, and like, I don't know, I've had a really positive experience, so I can't complain. I've heard of people who have gone in and it's been really hard for them and it's been really cliquey, but maybe it's because I'm in a Canadian room. Everyone's so friendly.
True.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've heard of like horror stories about people on SNL talking about how competitive it's about getting sketches up in terms of how you pitch, and then getting to work with certain writers, and eventually will get you some screen time and everything. But it
Oh, I
sounds
bet.
yeah, but it sounds like on your side, it does sound like a unified workforce that's trying to make the best story possible.
Totally. That's how it feels. And I mean, I'm like, the stakes are pretty low for me. I'm a script coordinator, so they know I'm brand new and they know that I don't know anything. So it's nice. I feel like a baby, which is exciting. A baby that can type. Yeah. So
Oh,
it's yeah, no, I feel super lucky that this is my first experience. And I was talking to a friend of mine who just got a job working for Jordan Peele in LA. Like
Ooh.
mind blown. I know. I'm like, okay, you're amazing. Like, have fun without me. And she was like, well, it's good that you are doing this now here in Canada instead of
Yeah.
going to LA and not knowing how a writer's room works. And like, just, yeah, it's good to get your legs first, your writing legs.
Yeah, I that's what I hear because last year during the JFL 42 Comedy Festival in Toronto, I went to one of their writers panels, and they had a bunch of Canadian writers who were talking about the industry, and what a lot of them said was like the opportunities within Canada are so little. There's only like two real players in the game. I think it's like CTV, Bell, and CBC, just those
Mm.
two guys. If you work with one of them and then you're done working with them, you can only work really for the other guy. So like just in terms of like I think for you just getting within that writer's room and getting a credit on that, I think that's already like a level that it's so hard for a lot of different people to get into. And like probably you can take that definitely for like in a few years, like you could probably go to LA, because apparently that's a lot of what happens as well. Different shows, even CBC shows, are just written in LA, even though they're like for CBC or for the Canadian audience. Like I think the Guy Sid Baroness Font sketch, a lot of that is written in LA. So
interesting. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah, it seems like LA is kind of where you need to be if you want to
if you're
really skyrocket in this industry. Yeah, but I'm fine here for now. I like the East.
And I mean, everyone still right now is all Zooming because it's COVID season. So LA or not, we're all Zooming anyways.
Exactly. I can make my background LA. I'll be there virtually.
Yeah. This ain't my kitchen. It's a virtual background. About Toronto too. Is there anything you wish someone would have told you before you moved to Toronto?
Well, you prepared me really well. Actually, I have to like shout you out, Lucas, because Lucas went jacket shopping with me. I was so anxious about the weather, and Lucas spent 3-4 hours with me trying to pick the perfect coat. And I was so indecisive, and I felt so bad. And then finally I found one after. But I know you prepared me well for the cold, so I was ready for that.
True.
I honestly think everyone here has been so friendly, and I wasn't ready for that. Like, I get really uncomfortable when people are really nice to me. And so, like, people have been so friendly and helpful and welcoming. And I'm like, I don't know how to reciprocate. I'm so uncomfortable. Like, when I was stuck here for quarantine the first couple of weeks, one of my coworkers sent me a little care package to my house. And I was like,
wow.
She's like, I know. And she's like, I know you're alone without your family. I'm like, wow. And I just...
That is so nice.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, I'm never going back to Vancouver.
Oh, man. Like, the cynical side of me wants to think it's like Dwight Schrute handing out bagels. You owe me one. You owe me one.
Wow.
Maybe that's the situation.
Playing the long game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think just the friendliness. That's what I would have wanted to be prepared for, so I'd know how to deal with it.
Aw. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll make sure you know how to be nice back.
I don't know.
Right? It's weird coming from Vancouver. It's like, well, you only just doesn't everybody just hang out with their high school friends? I thought that was the only thing we did.
Oh.
Exactly. Ugh, Vancouver. I like how all of us are like, ugh.
So that's totally, we could totally get that. Have you found like you're taking advantage of the time now to like write more, or? Okay. Yeah.
I've written, so I wrote a couple of specs. One was for What We Do in the Shadows. One was for Bless This Mess. I attempted a Dave spec, and I was like, I'm not even going to touch this because I can't. And the one I wrote for Bless This Mess, which is a very funny show, you guys should watch it if you haven't, but it was exactly like the finale, but obviously their version was so much better than what I had written. So I was like, well, this is what the headspace you guys caught me in. So I was like, well, I quit writing.
Wait, so did you write it and then you watched it? And
Yeah.
then you realized it was, okay.
Because it hadn't come out yet, and I was like, what are the odds that this story... I mean, it was a pregnancy story, so of course they were going to do something big like that for the finale. I should have known. I'm just... Yeah. So now I'm quitting to be a mime, and yeah.
Oh, well then, don't. There we are. For our audio listeners, right now she is miming.
Yeah, she's
sorry.
a box within the box that she's in.
That's so meta.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
If you can please write for Will Ferrell one day, please.
Oh my! I wouldn't be able to, because I'd be like, no, like this is the issue. If I could buy confidence, then I feel like my life would be a lot better.
You can buy confidence.
Can you? Do you know where other stores?
I mean, you can just take ecstasy.
I never thought about that.
Half joking, half not, you know.
You're gonna get me fired from my job for
Oh shit. My bad, CBC. Okay. All right, back to PG things. Okay. About like one of the last two questions I have, but like, what has this quarantine taught you about yourself?
I actually didn't realize how patient I was. Like, I have a few of my friends and like my boyfriend, I think they're really struggling with it. And they're just like, I think it's because I am just kind of a normally antisocial person. So I like being inside. Like, I'm very introverted, and so I like recharging. And so this has been like my batteries are fully charged and I'm loving it. So yeah, I think I didn't know I was this patient. And I mean, I've had moments of panic where I'm like, shit, I'm never going to work again. And what am I going to do with my life? And am I going to die of this virus? But yeah, I've been okay. I've been okay waiting it out. And I think I'll be okay for another few months, hopefully.
It's so true though, Z, because like I woke up a few times because I'm working like 7 a.m. shifts now. Oh, like God. I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm 32 working at a grocery store. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But it's so like divergent from like where I thought my aspirations would lie. But it's just these things take time, and patience is to your skill. It's a really big benefit. It's a big virtue to have.
It is, and I think it's a big part of this industry too. Like Chelsea Handler has a really good bit about this, where she was like vying for some sort of competition or something, and then she brought her friend along, and her friend won, and Chelsea was really upset about that. She's like, when is it going to be my time? And that's what she realized in that. She was like, you know what, it's your time comes when it's ready for you. So
yeah,
and it may never come, you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just setting people's expectations and my own.
No, it's so true. So true. Sometimes maybe your kids or the next generation, because you'll inspire someone else. Maybe it'll be their time.
Yeah,
exactly. Moses never got to the promised land.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, you know who did? Josh got to the promised land. Yeah, Joshua made it.
You did?
I did. They wrote a book about it. So, yeah, the book.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we call a callback, because we are a Christian podcast.
Yeah,
right.
It's a 2,000-year-old callback.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant. I don't know Bible stuff. I only know the Book of Satan.
Does he actually have one?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
There must be a satanic code. I'm a bad Satanist.
I've heard a lot about those, but true, I haven't heard any actual definitive verses or anything like that. So maybe they got to work on their marketing. I think that's their main issue.
Maybe I'll write it.
Yes, write a horror comedy satanic Bible. That works.
Okay, that's my new project.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, I'm sure you've seen the movie Hereditary, right?
Yes.
Okay. So like there's like, you know, many like mini demons that you can write books on, like Payment's already written on. But like just imagine you can get showered by coins one day from like,
I would love that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Aspirations though. Maybe you found your niche.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Josh, do you have any questions or anything?
Nothing particular, but I do want to mention something. Like, I didn't realize this, but I also have a connection with Zlatina.
Who?
George
Moorhead?
Yeah, he took pictures of me.
Oh, he took pictures of me.
And he took pictures of you too. So like that's why I thought it's like, yeah, the name sounded familiar when like Lucas mentions like, where have I seen it before? And then it's like, oh yeah, George had both of us as muses. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. That's the one thing I thought that was interesting. Small world.
George is an amazing photographer. Everyone should Google his name, George Moorhead photography.
George Moorhead. I'll give him we'll give him a shout out.
Yeah,
And
do it.
He's a longtime supporter of the pod, so that's
Aww.
cool.
He's the best. He did stills on my first short, what we do in the shadows. My first short film. The things I couldn't say. So he shot that. Yeah, and he took some amazing behind the scenes stills.
Yeah, he's it's funny, like within him and some of my other friends that are also close friends with him, it's like we've been telling him to come out to Toronto as well. But like I think he was saving up to make the move, and now with all this happening, it's like that plan's getting pushed back as well. So
well, we'll be ready for him when he comes.
Yeah, we've been telling him everything's laid out for him out here, so all he has to do is come. Come to the promised land that is Toronto.
You're the promised land, Josh. Anywhere you go, it's where we all go.
Everyone follows.
Everybody did follow, so.
Where are we going next?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. Eventually to LA, right? Am I right? Because that's the whole point of Have We Made It Yet, is to be able to do this and say yes and say it in LA. So.
Or Antarctica, because there's no COVID there.
We could bring it. We could bring it to them.
Oh no!
No, not the penguin.
We're here.
Bring it to them.
My God. Z, do you have? I remember your Dear Diaries web series.
Yeah.
Did you want to throw that pitch out there?
Yeah, we did this a couple years ago, but it's my favorite thing I've done. So if anyone wants to see what I'm all about, or what 16-year-old me was all about, it's my actor friend Chris Macrame, who's also my producing partner. He's doing dramatic readings of my childhood diaries.
Awesome. And they can find that where on YouTube?
Oh, on YouTube, yeah. If they search Little Z Productions, Dear Diary, they'll find it, hopefully. Only like 100 people have seen the videos. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get them to 101.
Yeah, let's get more views.
Yeah. Between you and I, 100 views is like 10 times more than what this podcast is getting right now.
Hey, our episode 1 from 2 months ago went over 100.
Okay.
Nice.
Blessings.
Nice.
2.5 months. But you know what? Yeah, it's a starting process.
Exactly.
And where can people find you on social media, Z?
Geez, I always forget my Little Z handle. 1 second. I have to look myself up because my other account's private. Little Z Productions.
Yes.
Little LITTLEZEE Productions. That's on Instagram, and that's where I am. I think I'm on Twitter, but I don't go on Twitter. So.
Yeah. Cool. And we'll add all those to when the podcast comes out. So we'll make sure we'll have the cross promotion.
Yeah.
For any of the listeners, you could follow me on Josh Yang Comedy, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And hopefully once that video gets like finished, edited and produced and put out there on YouTube, finally the world will be able to see an actual set from Josh Yang. So
I can't wait.
Yeah, hell yeah. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Lucas John Ing. And also follow our podcast at HWMIY Podcast on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot it.
Dude. So again, HWMIY Podcast on Instagram. And also find us on YouTube at Have We Made It Yet? But
Have We Made It Yet podcast.
Yeah. If you're already watching, then I'm sure you're already on YouTube anyways. Yeah. So thanks for listening to episode 13. And give it up for Z.
Thanks, guys. 13's one of my favorite numbers, so I lucked out.
There we are. Okay.
Nice.
See you later.
All right. See you guys next week.